When we're warming up for a run, as per the study that the Army conducted, what we really want to do is do something that is going to help warm up the hip area and the lower leg, as these have a big influence on how on the stresses that are going through the knee and how the muscles are working there. So what we'll do is a slight variation. I'm not really that interested in doing any stretching, and there isn't much evidence to suggest that it has that much of a preventative effect on injuries. Whereas if we actually get stronger, not necessarily going out doing this before a run is the best place to do it, but if we actually do movements where we're strengthening movements which are actually going to get the muscles working before we go out, it's going to have a much better effect. So we'll look at hip abduction, glute bridge, lunge, calf raise, and single leg sort of deadlifting movement, which I think are all sort of great things that you can do prior to going out for a run. So first of all we'll do the hip abduction. So we want to lie on your side, bend the bottom leg, and then lift and reach the top one, hold it for a couple of seconds, bring it down. Then we'll move on to your glute bridge, and you can do these single leg, ideally single leg at a time, but we'll do both legs first and then we'll do a single leg version. And from there, we'll do the lunge, which is just from the side. Then the single leg deadlift and stiff leg deadlift, this is a fantastic movement in how it addresses both the hamstrings and the glutes themselves, in terms of both how the glutes are having to actually stabilise the hip and torso, and then the hamstrings are both having to help extend the hip but also really kind of stabilise the leg as well. So you're really sort of working it really quite like how it's being stressed when you're running. And then calf raise. You could do this as a circuit, maybe 2-3 times, doing about 5 reps on each one. With the calf raise and the glute bridge, ideally you want to do that in the single leg version. If you're not quite strong enough yet, then just do both legs at once, but really aim towards being able to do them as a single leg version. When we're warming up for a run, as per the study that the Army conducted, what we really want to do is do something that is going to help warm up the hip area and the lower leg, as these have a big influence on how on the stresses that are going through the knee and how the muscles are working there. So what we'll do is a slight variation. I'm not really that interested in doing any stretching, and there isn't much evidence to suggest that it has that much of a preventative effect on injuries. Whereas if we actually get stronger, not necessarily going out doing this before a run is the best place to do it, but if we actually do movements where we're strengthening movements which are actually going to get the muscles working before we go out, it's going to have a much better effect. So we'll look at hip abduction, glute bridge, lunge, calf raise, and single leg sort of deadlifting movement, which I think are all sort of great things that you can do prior to going out for a run. So first of all we'll do the hip abduction. So we want to lie on your side, bend the bottom leg, and then lift and reach the top one, hold it for a couple of seconds, bring it down. Then we'll move on to your glute bridge. Now you can do these single leg, ideally single leg at a time, but we'll do both legs first and then we'll do a single leg version. And from there, we'll do the lunge, which is really just from the side. Then the single leg deadlift and stiff leg deadlift, this is a fantastic movement in how it addresses both the hamstrings and the glutes themselves, in terms of both how the glutes are having to actually stabilise the hip and torso, and then the hamstrings are both having to help extend the hip but also really kind of stabilise the leg as well. So you're really sort of working it really quite like how it's being stressed when you're running. And then calf raise. You could do this as a circuit, maybe 2-3 times, doing about 5 reps on each one. With the calf raise and the glute bridge, ideally you want to do that in the single leg version. If you're not quite strong enough yet, then just do both legs at once, but really aim towards being able to do them as a single leg version. And then now we have the other exercise that we can do, which is almost like a patterning movement, whereby what we're trying to do here is really get you used to landing on a soft knee, which is ideally where you want to be landing once you're running in that mid-stance phase. You don't want the leg to be too straight as you sort of, primarily as the foot's hitting the ground, but a nice soft knee really allows us to absorb the forces coming up as we hit the ground much better in terms of, really puts the hamstring and gastroc into a good position to do their job properly, which in this mid-stance phase is really about absorbing and transferring force rather than really contracting it at that point. So we'll have a quick look at that. So, you have to short step forward so that you land sort of in that position, and then moving your weight forward there. So it would be as you've sort of come into this sort of middle portion, or the point where you would stop, really what you're looking to feel is that your weight is distributed nice and evenly across the foot, that it's not towards the heel or towards the toe, but you're feeling really a nice even spread across there, and making sure that you're reaching out with the arm and bringing, so just as though you were walking or running, so that the arm movement is exactly the same. Now have a bash with those in your warm-ups and see how it goes.